Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Have you ever thought that you might spend too much time on social media, watching YouTube, engaging all the different activities you can do with all Instagram and Twitter and all those different things, Flickr, you name it, it's out there, isn't it? I've been thinking a lot about it lately, and it really is interesting to me is that one or two of my mates, one of them doesn't even have a mobile phone. I think his wife's got one. And the most they would use, some of them would use, would be email. And these are guys in my own age group. And I think back to some of the people who have had a great influence on me in my lifetime and in my formative years. Never experienced any of the current technology that we have these days at all. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have emails. They didn't have iPhones. They weren't able to do all the things that we do now, and yet they had a huge impact on my life and on many other people's lives. And they certainly enjoyed their lives. And I've been getting very reflective about all of that sort of thing. What's wrong with it? Instead of going on YouTube all night, which I tend to do, particularly in this time of COVID, in sitting down with a good book. I've done that from time to time, reading some of the great novels of the past, sitting down with any sort of book, magazine, whatever that you can think of, listening to the radio, maybe watching a bit of TV, listening to nice music, all sorts of things that we can do like that. I'd like to just share with you one of my favourite Christian devotional writers. Was a man who never knew that he was a famous writer, because after he died, his wife collected all the sermons and messages and devotional things that he'd ever written. He was a Christian minister. He was a chaplain in the wartime, and an amazing person, Oswald Chambers. And the only reason that we have anything of his writing and his work is because his wife was devoted to, she was there at every meeting he conducted, and she was a brilliant shorthand typist. And she took everything that he ever said down in shorthand and then published his books afterwards, and they are still, many years later, still probably the most read books in the Christian world. And I try and look at his most famous book called My Utmost for His Highest every day if I can. And for the Christians, for those who are not Christians, this probably might not make much sense. But this one, and this is in modern language, if you can read on the website for My Utmost for His Highest, you can read the older-fashioned version using these and thous, but this is the modern version, and I'll just read a little bit about it out to you. It's sort of the direction I'm thinking in at the moment. Is your mind stayed on God? You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. That's from Isaiah 26:3. You can look that up in the King James Version and get the thous and these. Thou will keep him in perfect peace, is how it reads there, I think. So is your mind stayed on God, or is it starved? Starvation of the mind caused by neglect is one of the chief sources of exhaustion and weakness in a servant's life. When I say a servant, if you are a Christian, you are a servant of God. If you've never used your mind to place yourself before God, begin to do it now. There is no reason to wait for God to come to you. You must turn your thoughts and eyes away from the face of idols and look to him and be saved. And look up Isaiah 45:22. Turning your eyes away from the face of idols. That's something that I think I'm very guilty of, in having so many things that I idolise and I don't need to. Your mind is the greatest gift God has given you, and it ought to be devoted entirely to him. You should seek to be bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. We read that in 2 Corinthians 10:5. This will be one of the greatest assets of your faith when a time of trial comes, because then your faith and the Spirit of God will work together. When you have thoughts and ideas that are worthy of credit to God, learn to compare and associate with them with all that happens in nature, the rising and the setting of the sun, the shining of the moon and the stars, and the changing of the seasons. You will begin to see that your thoughts are from God as well, and your mind will no longer be at the mercy of your impulsive thinking, but will always be used in service to God. We have sinned with our fathers and did not remember. Psalm 106, verses 6 to 7. Then prod your memory and wake up immediately. Don't say to yourself, but God is not talking to me right now. He ought to be. Remember whose you are and whom you serve. Encourage yourself to remember, and your affection for God will increase tenfold. Your mind will no longer be starved, but will be quick and enthusiastic, and your hope will be inexpressibly bright. At the moment, I'm reviewing all of my involvement on social media. So I guess watch this space. So I hope you found that interesting. Why not, instead of turning on the computer tonight or on your phone, why not sit down with a good book and just relax after the kids have gone to bed, after you've had some discussion with your partner, your wife, your husband, and just relax. Relax in the knowledge that God cares and He is with you, and that there's more things to life than impulsively getting on social media all the time. So thanks for watching. Like if you like, subscribe if you wish, and I'll see you next time. See you later.